Myles Garrett hopped on the Rich Eisen Show at Radio Row in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. And let me tell you, it's not a good interview for Andrew Berry or anyone else in that Browns front office to listen to. Unfortunately, I can't just play the entire interview because of stupid copyright laws, but what I can do is relay some of the big pieces that came out of it. But the overarching takeaway that I just want to get out there right from the start, he wants a trade. I listened to this interview and I kind of put myself in the lens of it's somewhat like when your best friends break up. You know, maybe you're good friends with a guy and a girl and they split up and you're trying to get them back together. And after getting lunch with one of the two parties, you walk away from that meeting going, there's no chance they are getting back with the other person. There's no chance after listening to what Myles Garrett had to say on the Rich Eisen Show that he is going to just change his mind out of the blue and go, yeah, you know what? On second thought, I slept on it and I do want to be a Brown. I don't know what I was thinking about earlier. No. There is no doubt in my mind that unless a major change is made, Garrett is going to remain adamant he wants to be traded. Here's what he said when Rich asked him, so what happens next? A trade to happen next. I just want to go to a contender. I know in my position, I don't have much say in where I go, but hopefully we can leave off on good terms and find a middle ground between us. Do you really want a hostage if you're the Browns? I mean, the guy was asked, what happens next, Myles? And the first thing out of his mouth is, I want to be traded. He could have said, I don't know, something like, maybe we strike up a new contract. He did not even leave a little bit of wiggle room for what he wants next. He has made it abundantly clear he wants a trade. And if you are the Browns, I don't think it's a good idea to just keep him hostage because you can. He has 2 years left on his contract. So there's nothing forcing the Browns to trade Myles Garrett other than holding on to him is going to create a toxic locker room where your best player doesn't want to be there and has publicly said, I don't think this front office can get us into a contending status. He has said everything to that effect without spelling it out for you. And my biggest fear, the Browns are going to make a bunch of desperate, bad moves to try and appease Myles Garrett. They had multiple meetings with him from the last game of the season, his exit interview until today, and I'm sure they covered what their plan is. And my suspicion is Garrett's takeaway from those meetings is the plan sounds like a rebuild to me, and I'm not going to be a part of a rebuild. And the Browns go, okay, we got to change things up because our original plan for Myles was not good enough. So what's another idea? If the plan was we're going to do a veteran bridge quarterback and we're going to take the best player available at number 2, that plan's now out the window. Let's take Shedeur Sanders if the Titans go with Cam Ward. But we all agreed that we don't like Shedeur Sanders at the number 2 spot. Yeah, but we have to do something to keep Myles here. And maybe he'll change his mind if we say we'll take Shedeur. Now we are encroaching in like NBA waters where you just start to build everything around the players, and when it doesn't work out, no one's really mad at the player. They just get the coach fired and they start all over again. That's a very dangerous area. One, I don't want to be a part of. There's no player bigger than the team in the NFL with how many guys are on the field. So, for me, this is a frightening scene where if the Browns should start making desperate moves, start making trades at wide receiver to go, look, Myles, we're putting together a good offense. Please don't go. And then if it doesn't work out because the moves were overpays and you lost valuable draft capital, and Garrett the next offseason says, yep, I still want to be traded, and now you're left 10 feet under because you made all those poor decisions just to make one man happy. That is my biggest fear. And I don't get the sense from the front office that they are the type of front office to do this. But desperation brings out the worst in people. And Andrew Berry may feel like, if I lose Myles Garrett, I'm the next to go. Another thing Garrett said on the Rich Eisen Show, when talked about, what if the Browns don't trade you? He said, that's a little bit further down the line than I'm willing to look. I'm sure people are calling and hopefully making some tempting offers. That is an absolute dagger to Andrew Berry. I go back to my Colin Cowherd analogy at the start. I mean, you are trying to get your two best friends back together. You guys all, had a great time in college, and now they just split up right afterwards, and you're getting coffee with one of them saying, what would it take to get back with the other person? And they go, to be honest, I just want to go start seeing other people. Like, oh, no. That's not what the other person wanted to hear. For Myles to say, what if they don't trade you? And he responds with, I hope they're getting good offers. He is not even hinting at what he wants. He is spelling it out for you. And he is not making any type of confusion around what he wants. He wants to go play for a contender. He does not think the Browns are a contender. I don't know a way Andrew Berry and the Browns can convince him that they are a contender. He's arrived at that conclusion, and it doesn't seem like money is going to change his mind. And 9 times out of 10, money talks. I think like Herb Brooks' team, we have found the 1 time out of 10 where it doesn't seem like money is going to change his mind. And if Myles is absolute, I'm going to get traded, I want to be traded, there is nothing you can do to make me stay in Cleveland willingly, then cut him loose. Get the best you can in a trade offer. I mean, start a bidding war, put 3, 4, 5 teams against each other, drive up the price, and get as many picks as you can possibly. And I don't want to say cut your losses, but just come to grips here. Get the picks now. Get them for this draft. Get them for next draft. That is, unfortunately, where we are right now. More from this in just a moment, but I do want to give a big shout out to Game Time. Game Time has an awesome feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you do not have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. One thing I really like about Game Time is their all-in pricing option. Toggling this feature shows the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. Plus, they offer the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. All that information is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. There were a couple other takeaways that I had from Myles' interview with Rich, so I'll just kind of go one by one here, starting with something that he said, and almost verbatim, he's not aligned on the team's direction. And once again, just to drive that point home, it doesn't seem like money is something he is looking for in this trade request, which a lot of times when a player makes a trade request, it's because they want a new contract. Myles has never once brought up a new contract. In fact, he has said he is not interested in playing for money or playing for personal accolades. He wants to play in meaningful games. You can't give him meaningful games like you can't give him a brand new contract, or you can do everything you can to be his biggest cheerleader and biggest publicist. The Browns have never stopped short of publicly going out and saying Myles Garrett is the best offensive player in football. Every opportunity Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry have gotten to support their own players, they do it for Myles more than anyone else. They have done everything they can to try and keep him in Cleveland when it comes to contract-wise, because money's not an issue. If he wants a new deal, they'll give him a new deal. And personal accolades-wise, he's won Defensive Player of the Year, but they can't just snap their fingers and make themselves a contending team in his eyes. Another thing that he mentioned in the interview was this was on a blindside trade request. The Browns did not find out on Twitter like all of us did on Monday. he had let them know beforehand. He said that they had their exit interview after the season, and he met with some of the members of the upper brass, the front office, and it was not a blind side to them. So they knew about this trade request, which makes me think Andrew Berry, when he spoke to some media members at the Senior Bowl, knew this request is going to become public soon. I'm going to make it known right now before it does. I still have no interest in trading Garrett. He also shared that he talked about this decision with LeBron. Rich Eisen said, who did you talk to about it? And Garrett said, I talked to my family, talked to his sister, talked to his agent, his marketing team, all that. And he said, and I talked to the guy from Akron. So LeBron James, wow. I don't know if this is really what Browns fans needed to hear, that Cleveland legend LeBron also, I don't know if encouraged, but LeBron was in not that different of a spot when he left for Miami. It wasn't a trade, but he felt like he could not win a championship in Cleveland, and he wanted to go win a championship, which meant he had to go somewhere else. And, well, we know what happens after that, and all is forgiven at this point, but it doesn't make it any better that, LeBron, thank you for encouraging Garrett to do what you did to us and the turmoil that Cavs fans went through as a result. And the fourth other takeaway I had was, like I said before, it's not about money or the Hall of Fame. I also read that Garrett's line in his request about my goal is to not go from Cleveland to Canton. It's about winning a Super Bowl. It was not a diss at Andrew Berry, but it was a response to Andrew Berry's verbatim quote at the end of the season press conference of, we expect Myles to be a Brown forever, and he's going to go from Cleveland to Canton. So I don't think a new contract is going to persuade Mr. Garrett. I don't think it's all about his personal legacy with the Browns and playing for them for his entire career. He just wants to go and win. And honestly, I can't really knock him for that. Feel free to get in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite Myles Garrett moment is down below. But I've always had the mindset and the attitude of these stars already make so much money that if they have the opportunity to go somewhere else and really compete and maybe not make as much money, they should do that. Because that's what I would do if I already made $100+ million. So how can I be mad at Myles for doing something that I've always said has bothered me about pro athletes is they will take the bigger paycheck from another team, even if that team's worse, than a chance to compete with a better team. Ultimately, the NFL Combine is the next stopping point in our off-season train track. And that's when things will really start to pick up. You're going to have all 32 GMs in Indianapolis. They will all be at St. Elmo's with a, old-fashioned and reporters drinking Diet Cokes, trying to get some intel out of them. And that is when a lot of these deals are conceived and birthed and really start to come together. So keep an eye on the Combine, because when we start to get some conversations between GMs there, that is when wheels are put in motion for a trade to happen closer to the start of the new league year, which we have seen time and time again when Russell Wilson was traded and Deshaun Watson was traded, right? That was all towards the start of the new league year with conversations happening beforehand. Before we sign off, let's pick a card. Dylan, hope you're having a good day. Which card do you want to go with? This Dylan. You. I was talking about this Dylan, Dylan Sutcliffe. But I realize there's two Dylans here. Let's go with the Eight of Clubs. I was thinking 10 of Diamonds. It's not going to be the 10 of Diamonds. So I'm going to change my answer to the 5 of Hearts. Jack of Diamonds. Jack of Diamonds. I know. Participation trophy. That will do it for us on our episode today. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you're still watching, drop a CLE for me in the comment section. That way I know who is a part of the end of the video crew.